let me like quick introduce about Serenity. So Serenity is project building the digital infrastructure for skill access, and also it have like access in like digital identity, custody, payments, and also tokenized real world asset. So
Yes. So, hello, Venket Naga. Can you introduce about yourself and your company a little bit so that our Vietnamese viewers can a little bit about your company or your about know more about you?
hello Venket, can you hear us?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
hello.
Okay. So, just 1 minute before you introduce yourself, so I need to like guys our Vietnamese viewers a little bit. So, cho những bạn nào mà chúng ta đang không tiện để mọi người nghe tiếng Anh thì mọi người nhớ xem lại đường link mà anh Media có gắn ở đầu phiên live. Thì khi mọi người bấm vào đường link đó thì mọi người sẽ thấy phần dịch thuật trực tiếp song song từ phiên live của chúng ta sang tiếng Việt cho mọi người nha. Okay, okay, let's back to Venket. So Venket now, we know as a CEO of Serenity. So can you introduce a bit about yourself and also about Serenity?
Yeah. So first, thank you very much for having me here today. Good evening. So hi to your Vietnam community and all the MEXCs. So my name is Venket Naga. As you said, I am the CEO and I'm also one of the co-founders of Serenity. I'm based in India. So I've been with Serenity for more than 3 years now, and I took up the role as a CEO to drive the company, to drive the mission and the vision of the company, and to execute whatever we are planning to do with the project and the company. And of course, now I think you did introduce a little bit about Serenity, but maybe I can go more detail into it. As you mentioned, Serenity is, we are a digital infrastructure company. We are building and creating the next generation technologies for different things. What are those different things are? One is secured access in the cybersecurity framework, secured access, digital identity, storage and succession of digital assets, and also very importantly, we are also building the tokenization of real world assets infrastructure. As we move forward, I will talk more about the tokenization of real world assets, which is going to be one of the main subjects of our discussion today. So as I said, we are an infrastructure company who are building all these technologies and creating a bridge between the traditional financial system and the emerging digital technologies through our different products and also our services. That's what we essentially do at Serenity.
Okay. Okay, so currently we know Serenity has like evolved from a Web3 security company into a broader digital infrastructure provider. So can you say like what are the core products and also services within the Serenity ecosystem today?
Yeah. So, we started as a Web3 storage company providing storage of digital data and digital assets. Then we emerged into succession of data. And then we started to move forward with different types of products and services, as you said. I would broadly classify the products of Serenity into four different categories, one being the S-Axis, the S-Axis Pro, sGold, and SPay. These are the four different product verticals I would broadly classify or categorize our products into. S-Axis is essentially, it's a biometric wallet, because there are many, it's biometric hardware wallet. There are many hardware wallets which are available in the market today. To name some of them, one is Ledger, Tangent, Trevor, and so on and so forth. So how we are different from the other hardware wallets which are available in the market today, because we are the only hardware wallet which is empowered by biometrics technology, meaning to say, to enter into our application, to do any transactions, because when you have a wallet, obviously you can send and receive crypto tokens. So naturally you can transact with the wallet. So to log in, to enter, to store, to send and receive and do all sort of transactions, everything is empowered by biometrics. So that means we are one of the very few hardware wallets which is available in the market today, which is empowered and securitized by biometrics. And for this biometrics technology, we are working with a company called IDEMIA. IDEMIA is one of the global pioneers of biometrics technology. They have sold over 1 billion biometric cards. Even if you go to some of the major airports in the world today, like Hong Kong airport or US airports, the passport terminals which are using biometrics, you will see IDEMIA terminals. So we have a technology partnership with IDEMIA. So they are providing the biometrics technology, and we are incorporating their biometric SDK into the wallet infrastructure. And we have this S-Access as a biometric hardware wallet. So that is going to be very useful for all the crypto users, because they can use this as a cold storage wallet, because it's a hardware wallet, it's an off-chain wallet, right? So they can use this S-Access as a biometrics wallet to store their crypto assets, and they can even send and receive crypto assets. Like, for example, they have their existing MetaMask wallet and they have 1 Bitcoin in their existing MetaMask wallet. They can choose to transfer half Bitcoin from their existing MetaMask wallet to this S-Access biometric wallet, send it, receive it, and transact with it, and they can do whatever they want. And essentially, they can use this hardware wallet for all the practical purposes of any other utility or whatever they want to use case they want to use it for. So that is the product number 1, which is S-Access biometric hardware wallet. Then we have S-Access Pro. S-Access Pro is essentially the enterprise version of S-Access, where we are using it purely in the domain of cybersecurity with enterprises, with corporations, with organizations. What does S-Access Pro does? What it essentially does is to replace your existing 2FA credentials, username and password. So basically, it is replacing or it is substituting your existing method of validation, authentication using biometrics. So that is why we have this S-Access Pro as an enterprise version, which is essentially getting used with organizations and corporations, which is replacing their existing 2FA mechanism of login, username and password credentials mechanism, which is the most vulnerable areas of security breaches, right? Because today, most of the security breaches, the vulnerability point or the breaching point happens mainly when these kind of things gets breached, right? We are replacing or substituting that with biometrics card. So that is essentially an S-Access Pro, which is an enterprise product. Then sGold. sGold, as we progress further, I'm going to talk more about the sGold. sGold is an RWA gold tokenization product and infrastructure that we are creating, where we will be tokenizing physical gold, which is, there are certain gold tokens which are available in the market today. I will go deeper into that, into what sGold does, how are we adopting our dual token architecture, why we are unique, why we are different. All those things I will sort of discuss when we talk more about the sGold product. And then the last but not the least is SPay. SPay is again a biometric crypto payment card. You might have seen a lot of crypto payment cards because now more and more crypto payment cards are available in the market today. But this is one of the very few crypto payment cards which is again securitized by biometrics technology. So here in this crypto payment card, you will have your crypto assets. The crypto will be converted into stable, and the stables will be converted into fiat currency. And then you can use the fiat currency to pay across any of the POS terminal using a Visa network or a Master network.
Yeah.
Again, it will have a payment rails. So like if you have bought a card in Singapore, you can use it in Hong Kong because it also has the payment rails, right? So that is essentially what our SPay card will do, because one of the key things of why we will have a bigger utility than others, because the SPay card will play a major role in our sGold project. Because there are many projects who are having a gold token, but the holders, they do not know what to do with the gold token. So we will create a payment utility where the gold token can also be spent using our SPay card across a Visa network or a Master network. So that means we will have a gold token which is also usable on a day-to-day basis by the holders. So to summarize, sAccess biometric hardware wallet, sAccess Pro, the enterprise version for cybersecurity, sGold, which is a gold tokenization, and SPay is a crypto payment card.
Okay, I see.
So
So
I got a
currently,
I got a question
okay.
about the third part you mentioned about sGold. So I want to know like how sGold different from the traditional gold investment ETFs or existing gold back digital
Hello?
assets on hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah. So we can hear you, Venket. So can you hear us?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
hear,
hear?
because in between I was, yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so
Okay.
my question is
So
about the sGold. So I want to know like how you guys make sGold different from traditional gold investment. Yeah, that's my question.
Are you speaking? Because I can't hear you.
Oh, something wrong.
okay. So actually I think now we just like talks about like RWS. So currently, what is the roles of the RWS token within the Serenity ecosystem, and also
Okay.
how does this connect all of your products and services?
Okay. Yeah. So our native token for Serenity, it is called RWS, which means real world services. That's what RWS means, right? So RWS is an integral part of the overall Serenity's ecosystem, because whatever we do, everywhere RWS token is being used. Like, for example, the 4 different types of products and services that I talked about. In sAccess as a biometric wallet, RWS will be used for certain functionalities. Like, for example, to pay for the drop fees, etc. I'm just giving just an example. So RWS will be used to pay for certain drop fees or gas fees in the sAccess wallet. A similar situation for the sAccess Pro, which is an enterprise version. There are so many products and services within that ecosystem where RWS token will be used. Okay, do the user of sAccess or sAccess Pro, does he have to directly buy or pay only in RWS? No. He can choose to pay in any currency. He can pay in a fiat currency, he can pay in a cryptocurrency. However, within our product ecosystem, we will have an API which will convert the payment of the user into the RWS token, for which our API will have to buy RWS token from the market to convert the payment of the user into our RWS token. And those RWS tokens will be used for the different types of the products and services that we are driving in terms of gas fees, in terms of so many other aspects of the ecosystem that we have. That is in terms of sAccess and sAccess Pro. In sGold, which is the gold tokenization, RWS will play a very, very major role, because the entire biometric services of sGold will be driven by the RWS token, because the entire sGold project will also be securitized by biometrics technology. So all the biometric services of sGold will again be enabled by the RWS token. Then in the future, in the sGold project, we are also planning to add governance services using the DAO. So all the governance services of sGold will be driven by RWS as well. And even within the SPay, the payment card ecosystem, there are many functions where the RWS token is going to be used. So what does it essentially mean to summarize? Anything and everything that Serenity does in terms of product and services, the RWS token will play a very integral part of whatever we do. So that is why
Yeah.
it is deflationary in nature, because the more product users that we have, the product adoption increases, then the services related to those products will also increase, and accordingly more number of RWS tokens will be consumed to drive those services. That's why we always say that our RWS token is deflationary in nature. And as our product adoption and product users grows, the consumption of RWS token will also increase along with the product adoption. And that's why we call it deflationary in nature.
I see. So the Serenity long-term values is designed to like become a ecosystem users and the real-world service adoption, right? So about like currently Serenity announced sGold a dual token gold infrastructure framework as you just mentioned, but in alongside with Chainlink and sGold. So what is exactly the sGold, and can you like introduce a bit like why gold is the first asset class you chose to tokenize?
Okay. I think this is one of the most important and the detailed subjects of the AMA today. So I'll go into different details of it. So it might take some time, right? So, as Serenity, as I explained, we are into storage, we are into succession, cybersecurity, all that kind of stuff. But then we decided that we really need a launch pad to take these products and services that we have created. We need a launching vehicle to take it in the market in a big way. Because as you all know, you see, I'm sure your community will also understand, the whole crypto market today is going through a certain kind of a transformation, right? I want to give some data in terms of the market caps. As of today, just for example, the overall crypto market cap is about $2 trillion. That is the overall crypto market cap, right? And BTC out of that is about $1.25 trillion. And the rest of the tokens or the coins, if you exclude BTC and Ethereum and some stable, to the two sort of a stable coins that we have, the overall market cap of all the remaining tokens available in the market today is only about $390 billion. So that is the crypto market cap that we are talking about. However, if you look at the traditional financial market, the market cap is quite huge. The market cap of traditional financial assets is about $270 trillion. $270 trillion of market cap that we are talking about for the traditional financial market, which includes equity, debt, treasuries, bonds, etc., etc. And now this RWA is about tokenizing these real world assets. The tokenized real world assets today, the value is only about $62 billion. So that means you are addressing a market of 270 trillion, out of which only $62 billion has been tokenized. So you can imagine what is the market size which is available to tokenize more. So this is the first point I want to tell to your community. And the second point is gold, right? Why gold? Because as you asked, within the RWA space, why gold? Why not any other asset class? Gold is a very strategic asset class, and especially for Asians, for Indians, we understand gold better than any other asset class, right? Because we are very much favorable for gold. So, and gold is becoming a very strategic asset class because most of the central banks of the world today are buying gold. This is point number one. And point number two is, of course, why gold is always preferred, because gold as a store of value as an asset, number one, and it is a hedge against inflation, and it is also a safe haven whenever there is a risk or uncertainty. And with the current geopolitical conditions and the market volatilities and also the currency situations, because some countries want to move away from US dollar, they want to have an alternate currency situation. So with all the geopolitical uncertainty, gold has become very strategic. Then, of course, you have the gold market cap today is $30 trillion. So that means you're talking about gold, which is having a market cap of $30 trillion. But then people always were buying physical gold. They were trading in physical gold, right? That has been happening for centuries and centuries. They can continue to do that. Why do you have to convert physical gold into a tokenized version of digital gold? Why do you have to change, right? Especially now in the digital arena, the physical gold's limitations are coming into more and more highlighted. What are the sort of different limitations or shortcomings of physical gold? I can highlight some of the key shortcomings of physical gold. Is one is the liquidity, and then also the trust on the transparency, and then the accessibility. Accessibility even sometimes is a problem, because when you try to buy physical gold, you need to have a minimum ticket size. I can buy only this much of gold. And then comes the question of storage of gold. Where do you store it? Where do you insure it? Right? And then again, cross-border payments. Cross-border payments are not allowed. And then if you're buying gold in one jurisdiction, how do you move the gold to another jurisdiction? So that way, physical gold has very serious limitations in terms of accessibility, in terms of liquidity, in terms of tradability, and also in terms of trust and transparency. And these are all the problems that a digitized version of RWA gold is solving, because it is making the gold financially programmable. That is the key aspect of tokenization of gold. I really want your community to understand why it is different and why it is better than the physical gold, because you have physical gold, you have ETFs and all that kind of stuff. Why this is different? Because the RWA tokenized gold is creating a financially programmable instrument. What does it mean? You can go for fractional ownership. You don't need to buy the minimum quantity of gold. You can go for a fractional ownership. And it is tradable 24/7, because when you have a token, it is available to be traded in centralized exchanges, in decentralized exchanges. So your tokenized version of gold is 24/7, it is tradable. And also it can be collateralized very easily, right? Because you can go to any DeFi platform, you can put it as a collateral, and you can monetize it and make use of it. And last but not the least, it is verifiable, because every gold token is backed up by physical gold, which is audited and verifiable. So it is verifiable, and since all the transactions are happening on blockchain, obviously it is immutable, and the record cannot be removed because of it is immutable in blockchain. So these are the specific advantages of gold token versus the physical gold, right? Now let's go straight into the sGold project. sGold, again, as I said in the beginning of the conversation, is we have a RWA tokenized version of physical gold. And the only difference is from the other gold tokens which are available in the market today is we have a dual token architecture. And I will explain what a dual token architecture means, because to what I know, we are the only gold token which are going to be launched in the market with the dual token architecture. Because if you see today, of course, as I said, the overall gold market cap is $30 trillion. And out of that, the tokenized gold market cap is only about $6 billion. The two dominant players of gold tokens who are available in the market today, one is Pax Gold. Pax Gold has a market cap of about $2.1 billion. And the other one is XUAT, which is from Tether. The gold token from Tether, which is XUAT, that has a market cap of about $2.6 billion. So that means if you combine these two market caps today, that is near to about $5 billion. So the two players, which are Tether and Pax Gold, they are having a market cap about $5 billion, whereas the overall gold market cap is $30 trillion. So you have a huge room to play. That is why Serenity, we decided that we want to go into the RWA tokenization industry. And within that, we want to first go with gold because of all the limitations that physical gold has, because of the market which is available, because in a 30 trillion, only about 6 billion is tokenized, out of which you have only two major players. So that's the primary reason why we wanted to go into gold tokenization with sGold. How are we different? Because I talked about something called dual token architecture, right? So even in the case of Pax Gold or Tether, there is only one token. They have only one token. And that token, it represents a fixed quantity of gold. In both cases, it represents 1 troy ounce of gold. And so since it represents 1 troy ounce of gold, the token price is also very much aligned with the price of the physical gold. So it acts more like a stable coin, right? Because, for example, today I think the price of 1 troy ounce of gold is about $4,450. So that means the price of this gold token will be $4,450 because it is aligned with the price of the physical gold it represents, right? Of course, these tokens, they are listed in centralized exchanges. They are listed also in some DEXs, and they are also available, I heard, in some secondary marketplaces, right? So that's where it stops. However, we thought that if it's going to be a stable coin, okay, you're providing an alternate platform to buy the token in a SEX or in a DEX, but you're not going any further than that, right? Because at some point, this will get saturated and you can't grow this ecosystem further. So we have 2 tokens in our sGold project. The first token A, which is going to be very similar to the Pax Gold token or XUAT because it will represent 1 troy ounce of gold. The price of the token will be aligned with the price of the physical gold. But we decided not to list this token in SEXs and DEXs. Instead, our gold token will be available only in the primary marketplace that we launch. Okay, then what do we do with the second token? Because we wanted to create this second token, which, let's say, for our discussional purposes, let's call the first token as token A, and let's call the second token as token B. What does the second token B does, which nobody else in the market, tokenization market of gold today, they do not have this second token. Probably we will be the first one to launch the second token B, and we will go to the SEXs, we will go to the DEXs, and we will list the second token. But there are certain criteria with the second token. The second token, it is not going to be minted out of thin air because the gold token will be represented by the physical gold, and that gold will be stored in a vault. It will be audited. Everything will be taken care. So physical gold, audited, vault, reserve, everything is there, and then it will be aligned with the price of the gold. However, the second token, it will have its own price discovery. It will not be pegged to the price of the gold. This is very important. And the second token B is not convertible to the token A. That means the market dynamics of the second token cannot affect or disturb your physical ownership of gold. This is the second point. And the third point is, for the second token, we will have a smart contract protocol which will determine the supply of the second token using an elastic supply mechanism. That means based upon certain parameters, we will mint token B sometimes we will burn token B. So a smart contract protocol algorithm will drive the minting and the burning of token B, and it will maintain the supply of token B at an optimal level. This is the third point. And the fourth point is the price. As I said, the price of the token B is not linked to the price of the physical gold. However, it will have its own price discovery. For example, if the gold price is $4,500, and if the token B should be priced at a certain price, let's say $45, as per the supply situation. But it will not be at $45. It can go up to $55 or $65, or it can also go to $30, for example. But there will be a certain price band or a price range, which will be maintained using our protocol algorithm. So these things are going to be very unique, which nobody else has in the market today, because our token B will have a certain amount of supply, elastic supply, where there will be a burn and the mint, which is driven by a smart contract protocol algorithm. It will not be pegged to the gold price, but it will have a price range. So there's a difference between pegging and there is a difference between maintaining a price range, right? That is the second feature. And the third feature is that it is not convertible to token A. That means it is not going to affect my gold physical ownership. That is also a very important point. And fourth point is the token B should have some utility on its own, right? Otherwise, you can't just have a speculative token out of nowhere, out of thin air. So all the economic activities of my gold ecosystem, what are the different types of ecosystem activities that you might have? You could have vaulting fees, you can have token minting fees, you can have token burn fees, you can, let's say our token is redeemable with physical gold. If somebody wants to redeem our gold token with the physical gold, they may have to pay some redemption fees. So minting fees, burning fees, protocol fees, gas fees, redemption fees, gold vaulting fees, though there will be different types of fees which will be driving the whole ecosystem. And all those fees are going to be charged based upon our token B. So that means we will have an economic utility token which will be available with liquidity, with the market making infrastructure, which will have a certain mechanism of controlled supply and a certain mechanism of controlled price band without pegging the price to the physical gold. So with all these unique features, our token B, when it is going to be listed in centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges, we believe that the market participation and the market demand will be quite high. I'll tell you why, because as you know, the whole crypto market is going through a certain transformative phase. People are really looking for such good projects. They are looking for such good tokens which are tied, which are aligned to some physical assets, right? Because fundamentally you need something to back it up, because otherwise we can't just go and trade with tokens without no substance, without no proper utility, without proper backing of the asset, right? Those are the kind of things that we are bringing to the table using our sGold project. We are bringing a physical asset to the table, which is physical gold, which will be vaulted, right? And then you have a gold token. Then you have an economic utility token, which is not pegged on the price, but it is participating in the market with a market making structure, liquidity infrastructure, but it still has some fundamentals of supply and price band maintenance. So I think our gold project of sGold, especially our token B, which is the second token I talked about, when it is going to be launched in the market, it should have a huge participation. It should have a huge interest, especially in the current crypto dynamics that we have. People are really looking for such projects which has a physical asset, which has a real utility, and which has some real substance and real revenue which it can bring to the table. So I think our gold project, I think in terms of execution and launch, we are almost 50 to 60% completion. The completion is about 50 to 60%. The actual gold tokens will be launched in the market, I would say probably within the next 5 to 6 months. Our gold token and the token A and the token B will be launched in the market.
Okay, I see. So, what do you want to ask?
Go ahead. I just want to add.
Pardon?
I just want to add one more point, because in traditional gold in Vietnam got little bit higher.
Are you speaking?
Yes, I'm speaking. So I mean the Vietnamese price, traditional price, when you go out and buy traditional gold, so it's kind of higher than the global price. So which is kind of good for who wanna invest in gold. Can use they can use sGold as you mentioned before, and yeah. So Theon, do you got any question?
So just like finally, I think you can share a bit about what can the community can expect from Serenity during the demands of 2026, because as you just said, maybe Expo will be like become more growth in the next 6 months, right? So what are the most exciting milestones on the horizon?
Yeah. So I think the community, as I was explaining, the sGold project and the sGold tokens, they will be launched within the next 5 to 6 months. I think There's going to be a huge expectation when we are launching the project. And as you also mentioned, we have got some very great partners for this. We have already partnered with Chainlink. Chainlink will be providing the price feed, and they will be also validating our proof of reserve of the gold. So we have got Chainlink into the project. We have got Zonix, which is a US company. They are specializing in providing the tokenization engine. So we have a lot of great partners into the sGold project, which will be launched in the market, I would say, within the next 5 to 6 months. So that is something your community should look forward from Serenity in terms of the sGold project launch and also the partnerships that we will be building along with it. And then when I talked about the S-Axis and the S-Axis Pro, we will be going into major enterprise adoption because we are doing a lot of contracts and agreements. We are talking to certain government level entities for a major enterprise adoption in cybersecurity for S-Axis and S-Axis Pro, right? So when we are going to sign such contracts, obviously the product adoption will grow enormously and the users will grow, which will also create a huge demand for our RWS token, right? So to summarize it in a sort of a short format, in the next 4 to 5 months, you will see a lot of exciting activity from Serenity because our product adoption for S-Axis and S-Axis Pro is going to grow. We will be launching the sGold project along with the gold tokens. And very important, within the next 4 to 5 months, in the same time frame, we will be also be launching our SPay, which is the crypto payment card that we talked about. In fact, we have got a license holder to be able to launch the SPay card in most of the Asian markets. And when we are going to launch the SPay card, Vietnam will also be one of the countries where we'll be launching our SPay card, which is a biometric-driven crypto payment card, right? So I think in the coming months, you will see a lot of product adoption for our products. You will see the launch of the SPay card. You will see the launch of the sGold token. And we will also go for a lot of DeFi activities for our RWS token, right? Because we will come up with a lot of new DeFi products. We will go to new markets, new holders, new marketing activities. We are also right now, we are doing a lot of marketing activities even with MEXC for RWS, right? We will continue to do a lot more marketing activities with MEXC for the MEXC community. So very exciting time for in the next 5 to 6 months. So I really request your community to follow us on Twitter, on Telegram, and also to participate in all the marketing activities that we will launch along with MEXC.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's very much information today from our CEO from Serenity. So if you have like the final message, the last message for MEXC community, not only in Vietnam but like in globally. So what should be your message?
My message is, of course, it's always simple and clear. I want to give a very simple message because I already talked a lot about, as you said, about the products. So I want to give a very simple message, right? See, we are all in the crypto space, right? The whole crypto space is going through a lot of changes and a lot of market activities, volatility and all, right? So my job as a CEO of Serenity has always been one thing. The market will have all its ups and downs, but we want to deliver certain products which are going to have real utility, real revenue, because that is the biggest problem in the crypto with most of the projects today. They fail to deliver the product, they fail to deliver a real utility, and in most cases, they do not have a use case and the ongoing revenue. This is one of the biggest problems that we are facing in crypto today. I am coming from a Web2 guy. I'm a Web2 guy. I'm not originally from Web3. So I understand Web2. I understand product. I understand revenue. I understand use case. I understand utility. That is what we are trying to build in Serenity today. And of course, we have our native token of RWS. And also we will have the gold token. So I can promise to the community that we will be one of the projects who will try to keep up our promise to deliver the product, the use case, and utility. And I think that is what will help us to stay in the market, right? That is what will help us to stay as a project. That is what will help us to stay our products to be used in the market. And that is precisely our tokens will also stay in the market. We will survive these current situations of volatility and market turmoil because we have a real product utility and our token is going to be used in every product and utility that we deliver. So I want your community to really follow Serenity, follow all the things that we do, and follow our token and follow our products and services.
I see. Okay, so I think that's like special thing for Serenity and especially you, CEO of Serenity. So I think it's great to learn about for everyone, for mixer viewers to learn about Serenity vision and also the way that you approach to the digital identity and security, the growing of RWA ecosystem, especially and sGold. I think that's how the initiative like the sGold can help bridge the real world access with blockchain technology now. So yes, I think that's pretty much from our side, and we really appreciate your time and also the valuable perspective on the futures of tokenization and also the digital infrastructures. So yes, I think that's all good from our side. So for the viewers, are you have any like concerns or want to deep dive more about Serenity and also the RWA, so you guys can leave a comment or join the link that our host just pinned here about the X technology, so you can find more information here. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So from our side, I think yeah. Thanks again for Venket to joining with us today. So